Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the minor Pokemon League podcast. This week we'll be discussing the Week 1 results and standings, starting out in Draft League, just some tips on how we get into Draft Leagues and how we can sustain Draft Leagues and how you'll enjoy them the most, as well as the Week 2 fixtures. So, once again, I am unfortunately alone in this venture, but, just try and put up with my shit voice and we'll move on from that. But yeah, first of all, we're going to be going over the Week 1 results. So if you haven't watched any of the minor PL games lately, there will be a playlist actually on the Major Pokemon League YouTube channel, which you can check out right now. You can watch all the games there. You can just click out, watch this podcast later on YouTube if you want to watch it later and not be spoiled, basically. So if you haven't watched all the games, go ahead and check them out right now on the old YouTube playlist. And yeah, I'm just going to give you to the count of 3 to get out of here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to go straight into the results. First of all, we had Aronskii beating Tablemon 4-0 in a pretty interesting game. I think overall, though there was some unfortunate hacks on Tablemon's side where he missed, I think, a couple of Fire Blasts and a Toxic. The Toxic doesn't really matter, but the Fire Blast mattered somewhat. But yeah, Aronskii, I feel, just had that game in the bag anyway, regardless of the hacks, because of his Gothitelle set and also, strategy with the Memento Gothitelle trap was in the bag as well. Also, Ditto could have potentially won as well in the end. So the hacks were unfortunate for Tablemon, but I don't think they were game changing. Next up, we had a pretty devastating loss for Sparrows against Sebby, with the Montreal Monfernos beating the New England Evolutions 5-0. And yeah, this was a masterclass by Sebby. Sebby came out swinging this week. Every single Mon on his team did what was needed to win that match, which is very nice to see. Every single Mon doing its job, and the synergy was amazing. It was just an amazing match to watch. And if you want to check out a masterclass in Draft League performances, definitely check out Sebby's and Sparrow's side of that battle, because it's definitely a good battle to watch if you just want to see what some good prep looks like. Next up, we have the Mastodon Gastrodons and the New Jersey Brobats. This was a 5-0 win for the Mastodon Gastrodons, a name that you cannot help but say the full name every time you say Mastodon Gastrodons. Yeah, 5-0 victory for Mass. This was just a case of Mass basically Rewt letting Gyarados get out of hand, get a sub up, press DD a couple of times and just sweep through Rewt's team. Not much to say about this match. Mass prepped well with the sub DD Gyarados, and Rewt didn't really prepare well for that. So that's all I've really got to say about that game. Next, we have the longest game of the week, which was a 1-0 victory for JohnnyGB and his Oregon Ducklets over Noah and his Philadephia Aegislash. The two rain teams going at it against each other. Despite quite a lot of hacks against Johnny in this match, he managed to pull off a win. There was a bit of hacks against Noah as well. It was a very hacksy game, very scrappy, but still very entertaining to watch two rain teams going at each other. And yeah, that's just very entertaining overall. I think Noah could potentially bounce back in future weeks as well. Sparrows, all these coaches on some level showed glimpses of good play this week, with the exception of maybe Rewt and Sparrows. So Sparrows did pull some pretty good doubles in his match. Rewt, it's kind of hard to determine how he played really, because Mass just got set up pretty early and just went through his team. So yeah, let's move on to the standings and the MVP race. In first place, you have Mass and his Mastodon Gastrodons. In second place, you have Sebby and his Montreal Monfernos. In third place, you have Aronskii and his Allendale Arons. In fourth place, you have JohnnyGB and his Oregon Ducklets. In fifth place, you have NoPunIntended and his Philadephia Aegislash. In sixth place, you have Tablemon and his Chelseadra. In seventh place, you have Sparrows and his New England Evolutions. And in eighth place, you have Rewt and his New Jersey Brobats. So yeah, I should have probably explained how the standings actually work in the minor Pokemon League this season. Basically, the person who gets first place gets the round 1 bye in playoffs, and the person who comes second and the person who comes third make the semi-finals playoffs, and then the winner of that will play for all the marbles in the playoffs. But yeah, as there's only 8 coaches, only 3 people will make playoffs, so it's very important to get like loads of wins under your belt, because it's quite hard to make playoffs in this format. So now we'll go over the MVPs of this week, and well, rather kill leaders. First we have Gyarados. Gyarados and Mass definitely performed well this week. 5 kills with the sub DD set. Just fantastic to see from Mass, and I expect more of the same this season. And then we have Aronskii and his Whimsicott. Once Tablemon's Matang went down, basically Whimsicott had a field day with Tablemon's team, so it's not surprising to see it get 4 kills in its first game after Matang went down so early. And unsurprisingly, in the top 3 we have Mega Gardevoir, a very strong mon and the most expensive mon in minors at the moment. So yeah, Sebby's Mega Gardevoir is already on the board, and I expect more kills throughout the season. And then we have Rotom Heat, who I gave a lot of shit to during the draft stream, but it's there in the top 4 kills. It did pretty well this week. It switched into Charizard pretty well, and you know, it dodged some Fire Blasts, so that's how it's there. And then of course you have Kingdra from the Oregon Ducklets getting up 2 kills this week from the rain match. And not surprising to see it there, and I expect Kingdra could probably climb quite high this season. I think Kingdra's a sleeper mon for the potential MVP of the season in general. So yeah, that is the standings. That was the results. Not much to read into them, as it's only week 1, still all to play for, and like it won't be till like I say week 4 where we'll start to get a good idea of where everyone else is on the table. But that's how things stand so far. Mass taking an early lead in both the kill leaders and the standings, so exciting to see. Now let's go over the discussion of today's podcast, which is starting out in Draft League. Here are my tips for basically starting out in Draft League. If you're out there right now and you're thinking, how do I get to like join these leagues and make a name for myself in Draft Leagues? There's quite a few ways you can just basically get involved. That's my first tip. You just join Discords. Find a community that's right for you. You can join places like the GBA fan Discord. That's a good place to find leagues. Also things like even Greg's Discord is actually very nice for joining leagues. I'll leave that in the description. Greg's got a very good little draft league hub going over there, so definitely check that out. And yeah, basically just talk to people, like be it over Twitter, Discord, or even YouTube comments. If you like, just socialize and like talk to people who like create draft league content, or like people who watch a lot of it in these Discords. Eventually you'll find the league that's right for you. Like just keep an eye out for any applications that open up on Discord or Reddit or Twitter. In fact, my first ever like draft league was, I believe, yeah, I found it on Reddit, believe it or not, a long time ago. That was the IBL, I believe, IBL. So I joined that one. And it wasn't actually an upload required league at the time when I joined IBL. So I still uploaded all my games from that, and that's how I sort of got my start in Draft League on YouTube. So that's something. Keep an eye out. Even if you like your league isn't upload required, if you actually want to get into YouTube and uploading, it's always a good idea to like upload a few games, just to like let the commissioners out there, the bigger leagues and the upload required leagues, let them see that you're consistent and very reliable at uploading, because you gotta like plug away and get a reputation for being reliable in this community. And now a few tips for once you actually get into leagues. I want you to always consider just being a good participant in general. Schedule your opponent as early as possible. Do not leave anything till the last minute. Be as flexible as possible to get your matches done on time. This is so much appreciated in draft, and so many people get it wrong overall. Like, I can't believe how many people just like leave it to the last minute, or just wait for their opponent to talk to them about it. Just like talk to each other, like work things out like properly, and get it done early, get it out of the way, and then you have like, if you get it done early and you get a scheduled time and you do it early in the week, then even if you don't make that time, you can get one later in the week, and then it's fine. But yeah, a lot of people seem to have trouble scheduling, so being a good easy person to schedule with and just being reliable in general definitely stand you in good stead. Of course, be respectful of people's time. Genners and recorders are people too. do not, this leads into the schedule thing, do not leave things to the last second when getting things genned or recorded. So many people do it, and it's so frustrating. I've done this, like, as a person who gens and records for quite a few people in the past. There was nothing more frustrating than, like, on the last day, like, say, a Sunday, before the jobs were due, someone would just go, oh, can I get my team genned? Just, like, type that in the thing, and it's like, you had all week to get this genned and recording. You just saved to 5 minutes before your battle. Do not do that. That's my number one tip for that in Wi-Fi leagues. And, of course, most importantly, you should just have fun. Have fun with your fellow coaches. Get to know each other. Don't just, like, turn up your battles and not interact with people in general, just like be completely antisocial. I know some people just like, look, I just want to battle, I don't want to talk to people or anything, but maybe you're doing it, you shouldn't really be in draft leagues, because really the best thing about draft leagues is building a community where you can talk to people and make friends and just get on with each other in general. It's a lot more fun together than apart, because Pokemon can sometimes be a bullshit game, and just being able to like have a group of friends in a league together where you can just have fun. It's one of the best things around when it comes to Pokemon. So yeah, the best leagues are full of friends that just happen to play Mons together, I feel. Well, yeah, that's my main thing with like getting involved with draft leagues. That's my basically these are like almost like the tips, but I've seen so many people like struggle with things like basic things like scheduling, like just getting out there and just talking to people. Like, it's fairly simple. There's lots of Discords out there. There's lots of like Twitter accounts out there. You just gotta put yourself out there, make friends that way, and eventually like things will just click for you, and you'll be able to get into leagues fairly easily because you've like built yourself as a reputation as being reliable and friendly and fun to be around. But yeah, that is my tips. Also, don't be toxic and a prick. There's another thing as well. And don't drop leagues. Like when you join, don't just drop out like 2 weeks in if you're not feeling it, because then you'll get a reputation as being like a serial league dropper. And believe it or not, us commissioners, we do talk to each other. You do get a reputation around that. If you start dropping leagues and everything, we do learn that you like serial dropouts. So yeah, that's another tip for you. Just bonus there. And yeah, I feel this is going to be a very short episode because, again, it's just me by myself. I have obviously reached out to try and get people to join me, but maybe it should be at a different time of day. Then people can join. I don't know. Anyway, let us move on to the fixtures, the week 2 fixtures. So here we are, week 2. We have Aronskii and his Allendale Arons versus Mass and his Mastodon Gastrodons. Very interesting matchup here. Two people, one person here, Aron, not really as ingrained in league formats as Mass is here, so he's got a little less experience. And Mass, both teams, of course, had pretty convincing wins in week 1, so it's going to be very interesting to see which of these can carry on their momentum into week number 2. Next, we have Sparrows and his New England Evolutions versus JohnnyGB and his Oregon Ducklets. Now, Johnny had a pretty close but very hacksy game against Noah, and Sparrows did not do well in his week 1 match against Sebby, and he has a very tough opponent against Johnny in week number 2, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that one plays out. Then you have Sebby and his Montreal Monfernos versus NoPunIntended and his Philadephia Aegislash, which it's an interesting matchup indeed. You see, Sebby came off a very, very convincing win against Sparrows, so he'll be looking to keep the momentum going and keep up his win streak, because he's one of my top contenders for playoffs at the very least. With Sebby, his team's very good, and his play has very much impressed me for the first week. And then you have Tablemon versus Rewt. So the Tablemon coaches the Chelseadra and Rewt coaches the New Jersey Brobats. Both lost in week number 1, that has to be said. And we'll see. We'll see how either of these bounces back. I feel like, I don't know, I feel Tablemon probably played slightly better than Rewt did in week 1, but it's hard to determine who could potentially be the favourite for this one. Because I think overall it would probably be Rewt. I'll put Rewt as the favourite just because he's got a lot more league experience than Tablemon. Tablemon very, very new to Sun and Moon draft format. So yeah, Rewt's probably the favourite for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tablemon could pull out a win here based on the matchup and such. So let us move on to the schedule. As ever, the battles for week number 2 will be going up on Friday on our coaches' YouTube channels. Please check out the links in the description below, both on Twitch and YouTube. Podcast is, of course, this every Sunday with me at the very least. Hopefully guests, eventually guests. Wouldn't that be nice? At some point. But 7 PM BST, 2 PM EST, and 11 AM PT. And I just got a Discord notification. Let's see. We've got Battle of the Week, which goes up on Wednesday, which is the same time as this, just on a Wednesday. Where I'll just be watching all the battles, like doing some analysis of them, not too much analysis, just enjoying the battles with you on YouTube, and we'll be like watching one side of each battle each week. And of course, then there's Pokemon of the Week, which will be on Wednesdays as well at 6 PM BST on the YouTube channel. That's where I take the top 3 sets and Pokemon that performed in week 1, and you'll see what they are this week on Wednesday at 6 PM BST. So yeah, that is it for the podcast this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you were listening live on Twitch, or if you were listening later on YouTube, or whatever else I put this on later on. Well, yeah, I have been Blue Rogue. Hope you enjoy all the battles and with all the coaches in the future. And I'll see you next time, my friends. Goodbye.
K-Dub.